If you've ever woken up in your RV and your windows are dripping, your walls feel damp, or there's a musty smell that you can't quite explain, you are dealing with condensation. And in winter, it can get out of control fast. Today, I'm breaking down why condensation happens in RVs, why it's worse than most people think, and exactly how to control it before it damages your walls, floors, and cabinets. Because a little water on the windows, that's not the real problem. Mold, rot, and hidden moisture damage, that is. Let's get into it. So condensation happens when warm, moist air hits a cold surface. It's that simple. Inside your RV, you've got warm air from breathing, cooking, showering, maybe drying towels, and running heaters. And when that warm, humid air touches cold windows, walls, metal, or frames, or even the slide outs, it turns into water deposits, just like a cold glass of lemonade sweating in the summer. But here is what makes RVs worse than houses. They are small, enclosed spaces. They have thin insulation, single pane windows, and limited airflow. And here's something wild. A family of 4 can release up to 3 gallons of water vapor into the air per day just from normal living. 3 gallons. Now imagine that moisture trapped in a 300 square foot box. That's why RV condensation builds so quickly. Most people think condensation is just foggy windows. It's not. Over time, trapped moisture can cause mold growth, wood rot, soft flooring, cabinet swelling, rusted metal components, and seal deterioration. And once moisture gets into your walls, repairs get expensive. So the goal isn't just wiping those windows down, it's moisture control overall. The key is to spot it early, and here's what you need to look for. Water droplets on windows or metal frames, damp corners around slide outs, musty smells under your beds or inside those cabinets, discoloration around the window seals, and soft spots in laminate or wood. If you see any of those, it's time to take action. Now let's talk solutions and what actually works. Number 1 would be to use a dehumidifier. This is something that we do from the time we plug our RV in spring through after we winterize in the late fall months. We have a dehumidifier running in that RV even when it's just sitting in the driveway. And if you do one thing, it should be running the dehumidifier. A compact RV dehumidifier pulls moisture directly from the air. It's hands down the most effective way to control humidity long term. For storage, you might want to use moisture absorbers like the damp rid that you can buy in those little containers with the lid that has openings in it to allow the air to circulate. And you can use those in cabinets or just, I put one on the floor of our rig and in our pass-through storage area. Number 2, improve your ventilation. This feels counterintuitive in winter, but it does work. Run your roof vents when you're cooking, use the fan during showers, crack a window slightly to allow airflow. Install vent covers so you can ventilate even in rain. Even 10 to 15 minutes of air exchange makes a huge difference. Number 3, be smart about heat. Here's something a lot of people don't realize. Propane heat adds moisture to the air, and that is something I was not aware of. Electric space heaters, they are dry heat and they don't add moisture. Now, if you rely on your propane furnace to heat your underbelly and protect your tanks, you can't just shut it off. You need to keep that running. But by combining electric heat inside, proper skirting, and tank heaters, you can reduce moisture buildup significantly. And also, I would encourage you with the electric heaters to watch the video that I did on how to safely use space heaters in RV, because they are a concern to many people and they should be. You need to be really careful with those. Number 4, change the way you cook. Cooking on the stovetop releases steam. Instead, use a convection oven, use an Instant Pot and release pressure outside, or cook outdoors whenever possible. Less steam equals less humidity. But if you do need to cook inside, make sure you're running that fan. Number 5, avoid drying wet items indoors. Now, this is one I don't necessarily like, but I am going to provide it to you because it is a valid solution. Wet towels and clothes dump moisture into the air. If possible, use campground dryers, hang items outside, or ventilate heavily while drying indoors. Number 6, make sure that you insulate the right way. Cold surfaces create condensation, so warm the surfaces. Options for this: window insulation film, Reflectix inserts, thermal curtains, foam vent cushions, weather stripping. Double pane windows help significantly, but they are heavier and they are more expensive. Number 7, open those cabinets at night. Moisture loves enclosed spaces. Popping your cabinet doors open before bed so air circulates makes perfect sense, especially in cold climates. And something that we do after every trip is open every single door and drawer in our RV, especially if there are items inside that may have been washed or come into contact with water during our trip. And we let that trusty little dehumidifier of ours do its job. So what about storage? Because you can't run a dehumidifier when you're storing your RV. When your RV is in storage, place moisture absorbers like those damp rid things I was just talking about in cabinets and closets. Leave cabinet doors hanging wide open, winterize the water system, and keep interior temps similar to outdoor temps if at all possible. And sometimes, especially over winter, that just isn't possible. But if you can do it, do it. Since you're not cooking or showering, moisture production is much lower, but prevention still matters. So can you stop it completely? The short answer to this is no, you cannot, unfortunately. You can't completely eliminate condensation in winter RV living, but you can absolutely manage it. The key principle is simple: remove moisture from the air, reduce temperature differences, and improve airflow. Do these 3 things and you'll prevent 90% of the damage people run into. Condensation is one of the most common RV problems, but it is also one of the most manageable. With a dehumidifier, smart ventilation, proper insulation, and a few habit changes, you can keep your RV warm, dry, and protected, even during those freezing temperatures. If this helped you, drop a comment and let me know where you're camping this year. And if you want more RV tips, make sure you're subscribed. Thanks for watching today, and we'll see you in the next video.